Hey everybody, this is your boy, the Saint Turner One, Saint Dez, getting ready to give you the very first beginning show of Big Japan Pro Wrestling. So, as I told you in our intro, we're getting ready to have this entire show. The only thing that I will not have any type of video as far as the Fire Pro Wrestling being shown in this video is going to be the post-show matches. It's going to be the pre-show matches. So this is the entire card that you see in front of you right now. So pretty much what we'll do is I'll have each one of the actual pre-show results and let you see what the pre-show results are. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each actual Fire Pro Wrestling World match, let it play through its entirety. Then we'll actually come back, we'll review it, and the way that I want us to look at it is we're going to see how Fire Pro Wrestling, how the match ends, and then we're going to see how the actual world, meaning like us, the fans that's viewing it from home, actually view it. So whatever the show ratings are, that's how we're going to say if it was a good or bad match. Even if Fire Pro Wrestling itself gave it a great rating, we're going to actually say that the viewers at home, we're going to say if it was a good or bad match, and we'll actually kind of do some things to kind of see where we are. And this is going to be one of those continuing things that are going to continue to tweak until we get it better. But that's where we're going to go with this. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that this is going to be a great thing as we go into this slow grind, true to the, pedal to the metal thing that I have as this project. So let's begin. So let's start our show. All right. The first thing that we have in one of our pre-show matches is, and the rating's already bad, but it says in a terrible pre-show match, we have Raymond Ryle. And in case y'all don't remember me telling you, I'm going to butcher these names until I learn them. But in a terrible pre-show match, we got Raymond Ryle going and Noah Ozawa and Tatsuya Moto defeating the Saint Turner Empire. And that is Grims, Samani, Cody Hall, and Sean Spears, which you may remember is like one of the Authors of Pain is who this Grim Samali is. So we pretty much got there, pretty much Raymond Ryle and his team winning when Tatsuya Moto pins Grim Samali. And we see that the announcing gave, the match quality a boost, and the color commentary gave it a boost. And as you look at the ratings, we see that Raymond Ryle and Tatsuya Moto is like some of the two main people in this. So pretty much this is where we at with this very first match. And it's got a segment rating of 37. In our next segment, we have the Speed of Sounds going against the Brahman brothers and the Yankee 2 Kenju. So it pretty much it had a decent reaction from the crowd, but it had like subpar wrestling. We had the Brahman brothers beating the Speed of Sound and the Yankee 2 Kenju when the Brahman Khan, a king, submits Suko Miyamoto with a school shooter. Okay, so pretty much we see that Yoko Miyamoto seemed off his game in this pretty much match, but we have Asa Kodata seemed like he carried the match and stuff. So Ishmael Kodata, he carries the match for everyone, and even though Miyamoto was off his game, he was still the second best in-ring performer in this match. And we got like a segment rating of 52, which, still pre-show. So that's saying a whole lot for what we got going on right now. So now what we have is I wanted to make sure this is one of the things that I want everyone to know, and it won't be like it's throughout a whole lot of the rest of this, series and stuff. But I wanted to get every wrestler a chance to wrestle on the show or be like some type of featured person on the show. So what I done, I made sure even if they wasn't wrestling, I wanted everyone to be in it. So what I done was I found either an angle or a match for them. And right here, we got Akabono. We have him showing some powerlifting dude with huge weight to show off how strong he is. And if I remember correctly, he's like 53 years old, but he's still showing his incredible strength. But anyway, the crowd, they pretty much tell us what they think about this, especially on like one of the pay-per-views, because the lack of anything interesting happening brought down the segment, and it was penalized greatly when we see the rating of 25 right here. Now, what is part of the very first part of the show itself, which is going for the BJW Heavyweight Championship, Junior Heavyweight Championship. We have a decent reaction from the crowd, but it's saying subpar wrestling, which you kind of seen in the match. We see that Takuya defeats Kota Shikafuda by submission when Kayuya Mura Nomura. Okay, let's try this again. Takuya Nomura wins the BJW Junior Heavyweight title. And yes, you would think that I would not actually pick a fed that I can't pronounce any of the wrestlers, but trust me, give me a chance. But anyway, we got Kaya Muya, we got Nomura actually winning the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and it got a segment rating of 44. It tells us that, Kota and Kayua didn't click pretty much throughout this match, even though they had like similar in-ring performances, and you kind of seen that and stuff. So that's something that we're going to build upon as we go forward with this. The next match that we have is in a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. We have Abdullah Kobayashi and Orca Otu defeat the Midnight Reavers, in 12 minutes, 22 seconds. And one of the other things you're going to notice is the time limit that we see in Fire Pro Wrestling is going to be different from what we have in actual Total Extreme Wrestling. And I'm thinking about trying to make it coincide and see how that works. Maybe we can come up with something that, actually make it more on the same level, as far as the time limit and I've tried it before and it hasn't. But right now, if you see some of these time discrepancies, this is what's going on. But right now we have Dula and Oka actually defeated the Midnight Ravers in 12 minutes and 22 seconds when Dula pins Yoshino with a Cobra driver. So the Cobra driver is like massively a big deal, you know, and then you also going to see that it's going to be some different things, as I said, with Fire Pro Wrestling as far as the move set. But one of the things that I am going to try to keep on par is if there was a actual pinfall in the match, I want it to be a pinfall in Total Extreme Wrestling, and if it was a submission, then I want it to be a submission in Total Extreme Wrestling. So we are going to try our best to stay on that level. So now we have the next match. And then about that had decent reaction from the crowd, but terrible wrestling. We have Saiga defeating Shogun Okamoto with a barbed wire board in a barbed wire board match in 15 minutes and 29 seconds with a pinfall. So we see that this is one of them hardcore matches. It was straight brutal, and Saga, he basically, shows why he's, a great wrestler, hopefully in the hardcore division, well, hardcore brand. And he beats Shogun in this match. And we see that the announcing and color commentary, they actually lift up the segments. Now, in a tag team match, we have Daisuke Saramoto and Rik Riki Ya Riki Ya Fudu go against the Heroes of Tomorrow. And we got Daisuke. He's pretty much one of those top, stars in BJW. So one of the things I'm going to continue to do is, as I said, I'm going to continue to learn more about this wrestling and start branching it off into what we want to do with this. So in a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, we have Daisuke Saramoto and Rikiya Fudu defeat the Heroes of Tomorrow in 28 minutes and 1 second when Daisuke Saramoto submitting Sao Inu, and we have Daisuke basically being head and shoulders above everyone else. So Fudu, he actually was like a 17 in this, and Inu, he was only like a 21, but Saramoto, he was a 58, and we have like Tsumi, he was 40. So one of the things we see is that I was wanting to actually have, the tag team championships in this match, and I couldn't because there was like injuries, and if it wasn't injuries, then something else was going on. So as I said, it's going to be one of those slow, builds right there that I'm going to get on my game and get everything going correctly. But hopefully you've seen that it was a great match as far as Fire Pro Wrestling is concerned. And we, as it says, Sekimoto, he looked good out there, and the segment rating was 46. Now, what we have is one of the first out of only one or two maybe angles that I have on the actual true show. We have the corporation are in the ring when the third generation Ceradoro brothers come out. The Chimidoro brothers come out. I'm gonna figure out the correct, pronunciation for that. And they said that they accept the challenge and will face them in a match. So right here we have the corporation going against the third gen, and we're gonna see how that's gonna work. And we see that Takahashi, he pretty much struggled going off script, but Uki, he improved throughout the segment. And we see that this angle cooled off the crowd a little bit. And one of the things with Total Extreme Wrestling, you do want to have like a perfect balance of having the crowd up and down, because if they continue to be high, what happens is suddenly they get burned out. And the best way to explain that is, if you ever remember, I think it was WrestleMania either 17 or 18, whenever The Rock went against Hulk Hogan, the crowd was so hyped over the fact that you had Hulk Hogan trying to be a bad guy, The Rock being a good guy, and it was like in the middle of the card. Well, after that match, most people fail to realize, I think it was like either Triple H going against Chris Jericho or something like that for the world title, and nobody cared because they was burnt out. Everything great about the WrestleMania to them had already happened. So yeah, they worked hard. They tried their best to get everyone's attention back but it was just not going to happen because you had burnt the crowd out. And that's what you have to be careful, because Total Extreme Wrestling takes that into account when it comes to a card. So right here, the segment did get a 30. So now, and about they didn't have much heat in Terrible Wrestling, we have the third gen defeating the Corporation in 9 minutes when Messiah pinned Bungie. And in terms of work, we have Messiah actually being head and shoulders above everyone else. And Bungie was actually the weak link, on the way that TEW is describing it. So right now we have like Uki was like 44, and then as it says, like Messiah was 57, and then everyone else was like extremely down. Now, one of the things that happened is it's kind of like I got to get used to knowing how TEW 2020 is, because it tells me that this match was poorly placed in a wild brawl really needs a crowd who's buzzing and ready for action. So I should have actually had it where the crowd was already hyped, thinking that match was a great match, and then you put a wild brawl in. That would just took it to another level. So I got a penalty for not doing that. Right here, one of the things that really is not a good thing, because it is such a brutal, wrestling organization. I see that Amarua is sustained a torn quadricep. So I'm already having like injury problems as it is, and it's like I got another person on the shelf. So hopefully they're not going to be out for a long time. And we get a segment rating of 42. So I needed more angles, and I think I did have like one more angle after this. So right now we have E2 and L. Lindemann actually having a video hyping up the match that's getting ready to come up. So it says the lack of anything interesting in the segment was a problem, and it cooled the crowd off. And it only gave me a 28, but maybe I can actually get some type of hype, because this is leading up to the actual deathmatch championship. So maybe something can really be a big deal here. One thing that I also want to let everyone know is E2 was wanting me to know that he was willing to put over L. Lindemann in a match, and I had up to 4 months to do it. But I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do it now. That way we can go into our series with maybe a young champion, and maybe I can build around him. And if he's seen something in him to work on, especially with him being like maybe an 8 or 9 time champion, then that would be a great story to start building on. So as I said, the segment rating was a 28. So in about that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. El Lindemann defeats Itu in a barbed wire board match in like pretty much 12 minutes with a locomotion tiger suplex. And El Lindemann wins the BJW Deathmatch Heavyweight Championship title. So one of the first things that you've seen with Fire Pro Wrestling is it's not like your typical WWE 2K game. You're going to get to have the violence in it and stuff. So as you see, and now I see something else that I didn't want to see. We see that Itu, he actually just dislocated his knee. So I'm having more and more injuries in this show. So I've already have 2 injuries in this show. And I've already got people on the shelf. So I don't know what the heck I'm going to do as I go forward. But I got like so many other shows to come up, with. So I just have to come up with some great strategy here soon to make this work. But we see that it was decent for what it is. And I have Tajiri pretty much on the side of El Lindemann. And I think that's going to help give him credibility as we go forward. And this segment was 47 with the crowd. Now, we have Mr. Cheese himself, the St. Turner one, St. Dez. Yes, I know, me. And then versus Jake Lee. And then we have Mahashi Takada. Let's see. Takada. Yeah, exactly. Masashi. I'm going to use Masashi, Jake Lee, and St. Dez. So don't be mad at me. That's how I'm going to pronounce it until I do better. So Masashi, Jake Lee, and St. Dez is going to be in this video leading up to the pretty much the BJW Strong Heavyweight Championship. And remember, the Strong Championship is different from the Deathmatch Championship. And I do have a storyline with the main 3 players in like a stable war, basically, is why I got this together. So it says that it advanced in the segment, but it actually lost heat. And then announcing quality and the color commentary, the announcing in color was good, but it basically suffered because it was a lack of anything interesting happened. So it has a 46 rating. In a superb match. Thank you. I know I did great work. But in a swerve to all of you, because Fire Pro Wrestling determines who wins and who loses. In a superb match, we have Masashi defeats Saint Dez and Jake Lee when Masashi pins Jake Lee with the U crash, and Saint Dez carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. And one of the things you may have also realized is I've just had people winning and losing, and I didn't have exactly who won and who lost. But I am going to start keeping track of that, because, as I said, this is more or less a way to introduce you to how the show format is going to be, not what the show actually is itself. So, as I said, this is a learning phase for myself, as well as introducing you to what we're going to be doing. So the segment rating got a 63. And this is technically the last match on the card. So there's like 2 more matches, I think, and I created them so that everyone could actually, as I said in the very beginning, could have a chance to wrestle on the pay-per-view, but they wasn't actually on the one on the broadcast pay-per-view part of the show. So everyone got a chance to wrestle, get a payday, but this was the main event of the card. So pretty much to ending some of the show, I had what is called a battle riot, and it's the post show that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. We have like Kamati winning, the battle riot, and pretty much Amari, he sets a record for surviving the longest, and Asio-san had the most eliminations in this match. So pretty much we just had a whole lot of people in here wrestling, and they announced the quality lifting match. One of the other things that I did with I think all of the pre-show matches, except for maybe one, I'm trying to build up one of the females that is like one of the true only females in the entire wrestling organization, because she was married to one of the guys, and that is one of the backstage negatives that we have. She is divorced from the guy, but I didn't want to fire her, so she's got the skills to be a referee, and I'm trying to build her up to be a referee. So that's why some of these post matches and pre matches is going to be a good thing. It's going to build her up to be a strong referee. In the segment, as I said, got a 37. And what should be the very last match is we got E2 going against a Sosan, which, a Sosan defeats Itu in like almost 8 minutes. And it actually shows that they have great chemistry in the ring together. So maybe that's something I can put on the card normally and stuff. And pretty much they had like a segment rating of 34, and that is the end of our show. So the end result of this show, after all of that, hopefully everyone liked what you saw or whatever. So what we have is we have an overall rating of 52. It did lose popularity in one region, and the show increased our popularity in 5 regions. It says that I use Fudu and Inu too much, and Sumi was used too much. So Hiroki, Sumi, and Inu and Fudu was used too much in our show, the way it's actually telling me. And it's like we lost popularity in one but gained in 5 other ones. So to me, this was kind of like a win, and it was pretty much in front of 6,680 people. You always in Total Extreme Wrestling get a chance to make a speech, and usually when you make the speech, you could either talk just extremely bad to a person, or you can actually encourage them, or you could uplift them, which will help what you're trying to do as far as make that person feel better and have more confidence about themselves. Or you can actually a lot of times use it to, when a person's annoyed, upset with you, or angry with you, you can actually improve your relationship with them. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to praise Itu here, as he had actually gave, opportunity to Lindemann. And I guess I'm going to do something for Sakamoto. I'm going to actually praise him. And I don't know. I guess the only other is Takeda. I think I may actually do something with him and actually, praise him. That way we can have the main people of our show actually, go forward. History of past speeches. So you see, this is something that I did in the last show that we had. So one of the things I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead. We got Takeda, and then, as I said, I'm going to get Edu, and I guess I'm going to give, as I said, Sakamoto. Get all of them, point out his, I might just tell them it's a great performance. I'm going to say they awesome. And then another great performance. And the reason I'm going to do that is he was awesome because he didn't have to. That's my whole reasoning for what I'm doing. So I'm going to make the speech. And Takeda, he was pleased. Itu is pleased. And Ryuji is probably how you pronounce it, but I don't know right now. So don't criticize me. By Ryuji Itu. And Sakamoto, he was pleased. So I'm actually, happy about what happened right there. All right, we're back, and we have just got through with our show, and we pretty much, this is what I was telling you. This is like going onto that website, and it's telling you about the internet, the largest pro wrestling database, and et cetera, et cetera. But the main thing that I want you to actually know is what I'm getting ready to do is now how we're going to go throughout the rest of the shows. I'm going to just show you, some of the things that was happening. I will get more in detail as we do more, of these shows and stuff. And I may just, as I find something interesting, I will stop, recordings and stuff like that before we do a show. But one of the things that I want us to see right here is we'll go through whatever's in the available articles, go through there, and as I said, from now on, I'll click on something, and if I think it's something that we either need to address or actually have interest in, I'm going to talk about it. And one of the first things you see is injury sidelines, E2. So E2 right now, unfortunate news, has been sustained a dislocated knee during his wrestling show last night, basically. So he's going to be out a few weeks. Major blow, smart move though by me, because if he hadn't lost the belt, we'd have had to figure out a way to either wrestle people around that injury or just keep the title on him until he came back, or strip him of it. And you don't want to strip, any of your wrestlers you can. So him losing actually was a good thing. As crazy as that sound. But as you can see, that's one of the things that we would do. So as you go through here, you see some of the matches, which is highlighted in yellow, that went on. Some of the people that got cut loose and stuff. So let's see. As we continue to go through, I'm not really reading anything at the moment. The main thing I just wanted to do is, it usually will give us the option to see what the show was, and I didn't see it. It shows that, let's see, I don't see, there we go. Last night, BJW, June 2022. So what I click on this is going to actually show us how the wrestling observers of the world, the Dave Meltzers of the world, is actually viewing us as a company, and how a lot of the so-called dirt sheets view us and the fans in general. So this is what we're going to get. So now it shows that, we held it in front of the Shabbat Arena and drew in the 6,680 fans. The feedback was decent, although hardly spectacular. So they basically said it was, it was an alright show, but it could have been better, I guess. So that's what we're dealing with. So we got to build up from there. So just like me with this YouTube, experiment, I've got to build up from here. It wasn't great, but hopefully it was decent enough that it's going to continue to have you want to see what's going to happen next. Once I check my emails, we're going to get some of the views. And the viewings from last night's show was 5,561 viewers. We see that E2 and Emma Mura both was hurt in that show, and I always just delete that. So that's basically the show. So the next time that we'll come back, we'll actually see where we're going to go forward, some of the directions we're going to try to go with this, and then we'll actually see how I'm going to go through each week, allowing us to see what's the best thing as far as maybe a news story and stuff. We're going to have like those little segments and lead up into our show, and then we're going to go from there. So until next time, thank you and see you. Until, just like I always say, to the twain shall meet. Bye.